middle-aged. If you are like what, 35, 40, according to just like our standards, American standards, you're middle-aged. Accepted. So like I'm literally um, days away, a few weeks away from hitting the big one, hitting 40 years old, and even though that is the case, yet and still, it's like technically I've already been middle aged. Now, I will put this caveat in there. As far as I'm concerned, I'm aiming for my full 120, 120 years, which I believe is our genetic capability, capacity, capability, whatever you want to call it. But it's still kind of sobering to think about this because it's like a lot of times I look at myself. I always kind of look at myself and try to think about, you know, how I imagine my own parents at this age. And, well, first of all, kudos to my mom and dad because both of them, they don't really seem to have aged much in the past, I don't know, 30 years. And that's like real talk, you know. And they seem like they've maintained their age pretty much since then, which is always a very kind of promising thing to me. But that said, it's like I kind of feel like they seemed older to me when they were the age I am now, 39. But I think it's because my parents, I'll always see my parents as like more mature, you know. But think about the things that they were dealing with and all this kind of stuff. But like I'm really knocking on the door of 40. But anyway, I just say that to say, y'all, you know, we're not like in our 20s anymore. We're good ways from that. We're not definitely not teenagers. And I still feel pretty similar to how I always have, pretty much. But then whenever I see these young folks, like when I see people who are in their 20s, and I see people especially in their teens, I'm like, I'm just not like them. I'm not. And and then you see people with their high school graduations and college graduations, and I'm like, I graduated from college almost 20 years ago. Not quite 20 years ago, but close now. That's college. So over 20 years ago for high school. And that's a long time. I remember thinking about the possibility of those kind of things when I was a high schooler or whatever. And now I'm way far from that. So that said, you know, we don't have time to be waiting, on stuff, man. We just don't have time to be wasting trying to plan for, yeah, one of these days I'm gonna get myself back. I'm gonna get back right. I'm gonna get in shape. Like, no, man. The time is now. It's like, when else? When else? Because like I was telling a group of young people who I was instructing the other day, I turned around and, like I said, 20 years went by. So I was really trying to encourage them to, make the most of the opportunities that they've been given. Because I understand that whenever you're younger, you definitely have a way of taking things for granted because you really don't understand. You know that time will go by, but it seems like it goes slow when you're young. But then, like I said, you turn around and you've been in a career for many years. You got some kids, married or whatever, married, not married, whatever the situation is. But like, you gotta get in shape, and then just even kind of thinking about it from a very practical standpoint, what I've learned is that Well, really, your younger years are very, very crucial as far as like setting the tone for the rest of your life, like your physical health. But then, like even now, around this age, very, very key because you're kind of in your, there's a lot of things that, according to science, can really start to decline around now. It doesn't mean that all hope is lost, but you still kind of have some unique opportunity now to, for example, gain muscle, to increase your bone density, to prevent stuff like osteoporosis, to kind of help to, kind of erase some of the negative effects of bad um, past lifestyle stuff, like unhealthy living and stuff like that. Again, I'll never say that all hope is lost, like that you're too far gone after a certain age. I would never say that. I don't believe that. But at the same time, just the truth is that the younger you are, the more ability you have. And so it's like now's the time to use the vigor you have to make sure that you have plenty of vigor down the road, if that makes sense too. So, hey man, we're middle aged, period. We are. We are. Like I say, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'll be middle aged again, or for real, when I'm 60. Um, but still, it's sobering to think about it from just kind of like the traditional standpoint because of the fact that I remember looking back at people who were around this age and thinking that they were pretty up there. And, um, and also thinking about that as being a time that at least a lot of adults would kind of seem to just be just maybe somewhat slowed down and all this kind of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, I can't slow down. I mean, now I don't do everything I used to do as like a teenager, but I'm not done. I'm not done physically, and neither am I interested in kind of starting to acquire a lot of ailments and struggles physically. I don't want any of that. So the time is now. The time is now. Please, y'all, let's not wait. Let's not wait. Let's go ahead and develop the routines and things that we need now to really maximize our health and take advantage of this point in time. Still young, but not as young as we used to be. So, um, accept it. 35 and up, according to our standards, you're middle aged, and it just is what it is.
As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.